I'm ready.
And we are live. We are live. That might have cut off the first part. Welcome, Zac Black, my guest, my comedic colleague who looks like me, kind of.
Good to be here, Eli. People say we look alike, but I think it's just because we're both in shape.
Yeah, we're just like the two.
Faces start to look similar when you're in shape. Not a lot of people know this, but your face is actually connected to your body.
Mm-hmm.
This is something a lot of people don't get. It's all one. Your face is your body, I would go as far as to say.
Yeah, and honestly, all white people kind of look the same. I didn't really realize it until I moved to Austin, and I was just like surrounded by white people. And I was like, yeah, people kept saying like they thought they knew me. And I was like, no, I just look like everyone, I guess.
It's just maybe your eyes. Maybe your eyes, because all these fucking brown-eyed losers around here. That's just a gift from God, though. This body we earned ourselves.
Yeah, dude. People are like, oh, you're lucky. You got good genetics. I'm like, no, dude. I literally fucking train hours every day.
Yeah.
I just got done eating a pound of elk meat and a pint of raw milk.
Where'd you get the raw milk?
Oh, dude, my gym's got the plug.
Okay.
Yeah, I should have poured you a glass earlier. You got to try this shit, dude. It's so creamy.
Yeah. Have you seen anything about most people are lactose intolerant? Like 3 out of 4 people are lactose intolerant. Just to what degree?
Yeah, well, they say I'm lactose intolerant.
Oh, you
that's
are?
why. Yeah, that's like kind of why I did the cricket thing, because I needed a not whey protein. But
you can handle whole milk.
I can handle raw milk.
Raw milk.
Yes.
Okay.
Which it doesn't make sense, but they said that it's a A2 protein instead of an A1, and I don't know what that means, but I can tell you for a fact I can drink a fuck ton of raw milk and not violently shit my pants, which is amazing.
That is amazing.
I mean, I guess I could just like not drink milk in the first place, but
yeah, you ever try to eat one of those food trucks on 6th Street and not shit your pants? Now that's a challenge.
Yeah, like cheese and pizza, dude. I had have you been to that grilled cheese food truck like right by Creek in the Cave?
No.
You definitely walked past it like a lot, but
it's supposed to be good.
I don't know. I was just really hungry. I was high as shit. I was leaving Creek at like 2 a.m. and so I get this like bacon grilled cheese with mac and cheese in it.
He's making them at night.
It was really good. And I was just sitting there eating it. And that song Unwritten by Natasha Bedingfield came on one of the bars. And I had never actually listened to it. Like I know of it.
Great song.
But it started playing and I was high as shit. I'm just enjoying this molten cheese. And I'm just like hearing the lyrics and I'm like, wow, this is powerful stuff.
You ever heard of Alanis Morissette?
I've heard of her.
Bad bitch. She got this song, You Ought to Know. Some people think that like Cardi B and that no, they're on the wrong path. You got to go Alanis Morissette. She's the real queen.
I can't do that.
That song, music. Ironic. It's not gay. It's good. Ironic is a little gay. That You Ought to Know. Oh my God, that's like who's that? Jet or something? That old lady band. Jet something.
Dixie Chicks.
Close. Black Jets. Suit Benny and the Jets. Something. I don't know. Some bad bitch. But that music, that's where it's at. I've been listening to Alanis Morissette on repeat lately.
I don't like white women music.
No? Yeah. Because you can't sing along. You feel out of place.
It just...
you like some NLE Choppa.
It's like a frequency issue. Like when a song comes on, I can tell in like 3 seconds if I like it or not.
Yeah.
Like with like top 40 type music or like Katy Perry and stuff like that, it's like a high pitched frequency. I can't really explain it, but as soon as it comes on, it's just like zzz, like a drill in my brain. I'm like, turn this off. Have you heard that there's actually...
You ever tried to listen to a woman do comedy? Pretty similar. 30 seconds in, I'm just like, I can't handle this. Why isn't she telling jokes?
Dude, that's so true. These white women talking in general.
Yeah, it's a lot of stories. Girls, talk off stage, on stage, the exact same. It's just like funny stories that happen to them, not really jokes. But hey, some of them are good. I can't think of any, but
I was trying to think. I was like,
who's a good woman comedian?
I think Candace Medina is the funniest woman.
Yep, she's great. She's so good at banana phone.
She's so
She is
quick
on
and witty.
fire. Yeah. Every Sunday, she's exercising that muscles and just fucking roasting people. Very good.
I love the culture that banana phone and like roast battles create, where just the night of, everyone's just kind of in that roast mode. Because you've done roast battle, right?
I have. I'm 0-1.
You just did once?
Yeah, I did it once.
Who did it against?
JT Stockman.
Okay.
Another guy I look exactly like.
Yeah.
It was tough. I just tried to call him gay the whole time, and it didn't really work. It was all right. It wasn't terrible, but I lost.
Yeah, roast battles are how people think comedy is. Like, people are like, "Oh, that must be so scary going up there and doing stand-up." I'm like, "Nah, it's like, but it's scary doing roast battle because you have someone just saying mean shit to you, and then a whole audience like, yeah, fuck that guy," and you're just kind of like, I could either just stay silent and wait for my turn to do the roast, or I could try to get them back and probably fail because the scales are tipped against us.
How so?
Because we're fucking
hard to roast.
Good looking. Yeah. So I can feel it. As soon as I get on stage, I can feel everyone's just like, fuck that guy. It's not every time, but it's often.
Sometimes, yeah. I'd like to see you lose, but it's tough being incredibly good looking.
I mean, it's fair. I lost brutally to Nick Vandervoort once.
Mm-hmm.
He just kept calling me gay and making like jokes about me banging dudes and getting AIDS in Thailand, and just kept hammering it. And he was crushing.
Yeah, he's super funny. He's gotten me with a couple roasts at Banana Phone, not in a roast battle. But one time he said that I watched Joe Rogan's podcast like this, laying on my belly on my bed and kicking my feet in the air. And it crushed, obviously.
That's good. I said that Nick lives in his car. He sleeps in the cup holder.
Pretty good.
That was my first joke, and it hit. I think he laughed harder than the audience, honestly. And then after that, all my jokes bombed because I just kept talking about him being short and small, and he was talking about me being gay and having AIDS. So like, I left that thinking that I was way too nice.
All true things.
A lot. Roast battle, you really have to be fucking mean. That's like a surefire way. You can either win or make everyone so uncomfortable that you're like, yeah, got you.
Yeah, you do have to go right for it. It's the meanest shit possible. But there is difference. You see it with comedians. Like, some people cannot pull off being mean. There has to be a joke in there. But then people like Tony Hinchcliffe, he can just be mean as hell, and it's funny on its own.
Sometimes.
It's funny. He fucking...
It's funny when it's on stage and in a show. But then the show ends and he's just still an asshole. And you're like, okay, well, I mean, I guess this is your job. At least you're consistent.
I'd never say that about him, but can't disagree. He might be watching this.
No fucking way.
Could get around to him.
He knows he's an asshole. He's created this persona intentionally. He doesn't care. And I'm not saying it like it's a bad thing. I mean, I think most people would think it is, but I understand the whole playing the heel and being an asshole kind of thing. It is funny.
Yeah, dude, he is playing the heel, like some WWE shit. He is a dork like that. He likes WWE. Him and Uncle Laser need to tag team. They tried.
Tag team who?
I don't know, the world.
Okay, I was just imagining them Eiffel Towering someone.
That'd be a sight. Jesus Christ, it wouldn't be a good-looking woman too. I know some of the women that they've been.
Whoa! they both get hot chicks. That's what.
Yeah, but then there's some that I would never touch personally.
It's crazy what being famous will do. Well, Laser used to be poor, so
yeah.
Now he's rich and famous. But it's crazy, man, how everyone's just on their own comedic journey, and there's absolutely no right way to do things.
There is a lot of wrong ways, though. I've been thinking lately about how to make money in this business, and I think it's false advertisement and trickery.
Yeah.
To sell tickets. There's a lot of money in tickets.
Yeah, I mean,
ticket sales, great way to make money.
I met some Armenian dudes in LA. I was promoting my business, Golden Cricket. Mm-hmm. And I said something along the lines of, they were kind of like poking holes at it and trying to criticize it. And I was like, yeah, I'm running a honest business. I'm not stealing or scamming or lying about anything. And they're like, yeah, that's where you're fucking up. That's the way you make money.
They're like, crickets, we get those are free in our country. We just pick them up and eat them.
I mean, everything's free to pick up if you drive far enough.
That's true.
You just got to go to the source.
What kind of holes were they trying to poke in it? They're being an honest businessman?
Well, just like people shouldn't eat bugs and stuff like that. Which I don't, there's not really anything to support that. It's literally healthier than like anything.
What is any other animal?
Doesn't taste
besides a bigger bug.
Yeah, exactly.
In the grand scheme of things, from an alien looking down perspective.
I was thinking earlier how eating meat is kind of like a satanic ritual. Like you take a cow and then you just rip it open and eat its flesh.
Yeah.
Like, that's crazy.
Guess I'm going to hell because I absolutely love it.
Yeah, me too.
I tried the carnivore diet for a month one time, and testosterone levels were up. Not that I got tested. I could just feel it.
Yeah.
Yeah. But it's
angry boners.
It just feels better to eat regular food. You know, in the moment. Even though my body did feel better when I did the all meat. I don't know. It's just tough.
My goal is carnivore. Like, I try to eat nothing but meat, but then once I'm like out on the scene and stuff and around town, I'll just eat whatever. So I'm carnivore until like 10 p.m. And then after that, it's like I need all the calories I can get. Because like I train so much that I'll just start withering away and like losing weight and strength if I don't eat enough. Mm-hmm. Which is fucking annoying, dude, because I don't like eating that much anymore.
Me too. Naturally, if I didn't watch what I ate, I'd weigh 150 pounds. I have to eat to maintain a little size. I only weigh 190 pounds right now. I would like to be up over 200.
I think I'm only like 205.
Yeah, I would like to weigh 205. But it's tough. I've been staying up way too late and not on my diet enough. I've been staying up till like 5, 6 a.m.
Doing what?
Trying to figure out ways to make money in comedy.
I believe in
working on things.
You started
booking and putting shows together and stuff, and just talking to people. I feel like I get more work done late at night. I've always felt like that, even when I was younger. I used to have a real job. I worked in the factory for 10 years, and I flipped some houses, and I would always be most productive at like 2 a.m. And I would always be most productive then because there's less distractions. Everybody else is in bed. There's nobody to text. I mean, the window of getting pussy is come and gone once it's 3 a.m. There's no you up text at 3 a.m. You could, but you don't want to. So it's less distractions, and you can just focus on the work.
So Outlaws Comedy, that's your creation, right?
Yeah, Outlaw Comedy.
Can you tell me about that? How'd that start and how long ago?
Yeah, so it started back in Buffalo, New York. It wasn't called Outlaw Comedy then. Back then, I had Pearl City Productions, and that was the way to get stage time in Buffalo, New York, because there's only one club, so you had to run shows in breweries and bars. And so I just started booking shows, and then when I came here, just right off the bat, same thing. It was to get the amount of stage time I want, you have to run your own shows. And by running shows, you can book comedians and then they book you on their shows. It's the oldest trick in the book. You got to book to get booked. And because you have to be able to offer something more than just being funny. There's a lot of funny people, plenty of people funnier than me. So if I can offer something more than just my comedy, then that gives me a little step up because this business is about stage time. Everybody wants stage time. If you can offer people stage time, then they're going to offer you stage time, as opposed to not being able to offer anything at all and still wanting stage time. So, and I do enjoy producing the shows. It almost feels as good when a show goes successful when I run it as it does when I have a good set. Like the feeling is pretty similar.
That's interesting.
Yeah, at the end of the night, it's good when the show went well and you gave 5 or 6 people stage time and everybody's happy and dapping you up and feels good, and make a little more money that way. I pay people well, but even paying people well for a spot is still only between $20 and $50. But when you run a show and sell the tickets yourself, there's a lot more money than that.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, until you get to the point where you're like a headliner, then you don't have to worry about anything. But it's still the ticket sales. It's still how many tickets you sold. But nobody's coming to see Zac Black, so I'm not going to sell tickets that way. But if I can put a show together, people do come out to those.
Have you bombed on one of your own shows?
Oh yeah, all the time. not like all the time, but it's definitely happened plenty of times. I've ran a bunch of shows now. I've probably, if I include my time in New York, I've definitely produced like over 100 shows for sure.
So what does the ticket sales neutralize the bomb if that happens? Like if you're like, I had a bad set, but the show ain't good, you're like, all right.
That's a good point. I don't know. It doesn't neutralize it. It's best when both things go well.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's definitely best when both go well. Yeah.
Well, how long did you start comedy?
5 years.
5 years.
Yeah, and it was a very slow start. I'm from a small town next to Buffalo, and it was like one open mic a month. And then so that was kind of the start, and then it kind of got rolling after in like 2021 ish. Because 2020 nobody did comedy. Maybe you did. Where were you living in 2020?
I was in LA. That's when I moved here.
Okay.
I've been doing comedy for like 8 years.
And you still got stage time during the pandemic?
No.
Oh, none?
None.
Yeah, I didn't get.
But then I moved to Austin, and I was like one of the funniest people in town.
Yeah.
And I was getting booked all the time. I was like, this is it. I made it. And then like everyone else moved here, and then I just stopped getting booked because like a bunch of other talent came in, and I was no longer one of the funniest people in town.
Yeah, I mean, the funniest people on earth live here, and they're still coming.
Yeah, they're still coming.
Yeah, slowly but surely. The biggest names, the Shane Gillis has just moved to town finally.
Yeah, dude,
he brought his crew, Sean Gardini, Lemaire, and they're like headlining now. Sean Gardini's headlining.
They need to do something about this weather, though.
Why it's too cold right now?
It's about to be. Did you hear there's going to be like an Arctic freeze? They said something about like a vortex like an Arctic vortex is going to shoot -5 degree weather.
It is
in Texas, like within the next few days.
Well, I'm prepared. I have my pea coat.
Shane Gillis is hilarious. My friend said Shane Gillis isn't funny. Also, my mom's in here.
You looking at a thread right now?
I'm looking at the live chat for this episode.
Who hasn't seen Shane Gillis' crutch? I mean,
dude,
say it's not funny.
My buddy Christian, dude, go look up Shane Gillis' special. And
You
he's got
missed
one
my
of-
reference earlier when you said you were getting the grilled cheese. He's making them at night. That's in his special.
oh yeah,
And it's like a meme going around right now.
was that when he was doing the impression of the Down syndrome guy?
Probably. I think that's a lot of his special.
Or I guess anything he says is kind of an impression of a Down syndrome guy. Dude, Shane Gillis has the best retard jokes of any comedian, I think.
He totally does. That one about guys that can't think love pussy. Every guy with Down syndrome loves pussy, and it just proves that being gay is a choice because every guy that can't think loves pussy.
Yeah, that dude, that's true, man. I had a kid with Down syndrome at my school, and he like groped some girl, and then everyone was like, "Oh yeah, I guess they do that." I had 3 friends with Down syndrome when I was a kid, and they went up in like they were like the 3 degrees of retardation. One of them like couldn't really talk; he would just make noises.
Mm-hmm.
And then the second one, he could talk, but he was still pretty retarded. And then the third one, he kind of seemed normal, but he just looked like he had Down syndrome. And I used to come home from school sometimes, and number 2, middle retard, would be in my kitchen, just going through my fridge.
Really?
Yeah, I was like 12, and I'd have to call his mom and be like, "Hey, can you come get your kid?"
You were friends with him though. You let him come over?
No, he would come to my house before I got home from school. He would just like walk over, and then I'd get home from school. We lived in like a safe part of town, so people left the doors unlocked. So he would just walk right in.
Yeah, he's not hurting anybody. Just looking for some raw milk.
Yeah, dude, could you imagine we get the Downies on raw milk? They're gonna be way too strong. They're gonna take over.
I have a cousin with Down syndrome, and he's fucking huge. He's literally built like you.
That's terrifying.
Yeah, and he can't talk. He just like points at pictures. Like if he has to go to the bathroom, he'll point at a picture of a toilet. And yeah, one Christmas he loves my grandparents. We went over to my grandparents, and he like ran at my grandfather to give him a hug so hard he like put him through a wall, basically. Like fucked the drywall up. He's huge. I don't know how much he weighs. He must weigh like 230. He's enormous. Giant head on him too. He's got like the head of a pit bull.
Probably dense too.
Dense as fuck.
Because I feel like strength is about like the muscle mass is like dense. Like you can be heavy but not look that big.
Yeah. Huge hog too. Just leaking cum. He's got to be 30 years old now.
Have you seen
He's
his
probably
dick?
never had sex. No, I'm just assuming it's huge. You know,
do they jerk off?
I don't think he can or does or knows what that even is. You know, he's it's pretty severe,
Dude.
So he must not. He just draws on the computer. He doesn't like, there's no way he's searching porn or anything. So he's just like an unneutered dog. He's just not having sex, just walking around, just full to the brim at all times.
Just doing semen retention.
Yeah. You know how much different you feel when you don't jerk off for 4 days. Like I'm fucking, if I don't come for 4 days, I'm fucking more amped up than I usually am. I'm like out on the prowl.
I know if I come before I train, that takes the energy levels down quite a bit.
Yeah, for me too. Even like the next day, if I jerk off at night, I don't wake up as refreshed. I sleep better when I don't jerk off.
Really?
And then I can train better. Yeah, maybe I fall asleep faster if I jerk off, but the quality of sleep is not as good.
I don't really jerk off.
You don't?
No.
I haven't been focused on women lately. I'm trying to just focus on my career, so I've been jerking off a lot.
That's good.
Yeah, to keep me away from women. Because then if I jerked off 4 days in a row, I'm not like, if I get some pussy now, it's gonna be great. I know it won't be good, I know I won't be able to lay the hammer hammer down like I should be able to. So then I'm not even interested, you know?
People say like porn is bad and like a porn addiction can ruin your life and stuff, but it's not nearly as dangerous as dating real women.
Yeah.
That will actually ruin your life.
Yeah, you're spending money. Porn is free. These $200 dinner dates, they take away from you quickly.
Yeah, they take your time and your energy. And then like you ever hang out with a chick and like didn't do comedy that night and you're like, wow, I just betrayed myself and like turned my back on my goals.
Especially when it doesn't go well. Like I just wasted my whole night and money for no reason.
Yeah, it's tough because women are like the most validating thing. Like having a woman that wants to have sex with you is essentially her being like, your genetics are worthy of procreation and I want to further your bloodline. Like biologically, that's what's going on.
Yeah.
So, and then, doing mics for 7 people and no one laughs, not that validating.
It hurts.
Yeah.
You do get a little bit out of everything, a little bit out of every terrible open mic, but
yeah,
it hurts worse. And then a good date, that feels good sometimes, but you probably lose something. There's not much to be gained.
I kind of like changed my perspective on open mics to where I went through a phase where I was like, I don't need to do mics. Like, fuck that. Sitting around for hours to get up. And then I was like, oh, wait, I need to stop bringing a fucking ego into this. It doesn't matter my other accomplishments. It has nothing to do with comedy. So I was like, I'm going to start using open mics as like a fucking, like, I'm just going to talk about whatever I want to talk about and just not even try to make people laugh. Like, just do it for me. And then when it's the shows, then I'm like, okay, I'm just going to do the ones that people laugh.
That is a good way to go about it. Try the new stuff. Everybody knows that, but it's harder to put it into practice. Because then you're in front of people and you want to do well. You're like, I could just go to my best joke. But really, you want to experiment and work things out.
Yeah, the best thing about comedy for me is when a new joke lands.
Yeah, that is the best. One good joke, one new joke will like give you energy for your whole set.
Mm-hmm.
Then your rest of your jokes don't feel as stale. Because if you've already said your whole set a bunch of times, it feels stale as hell. But then just one new joke in that set will make the rest feel new again. You just have so much. And it's not even how funny the joke is. If you're excited to tell it, it just comes off much better.
Yeah.
Anything new.
If you're like in the pocket, they can like feel it.
Definitely. It's just like, it's not what you say, it's how you say it. That's a big thing.
But I've also been in the pocket before and they've been like, no.
Yeah.
They've been like, oh, I got this. And then it just bombs. And I'm like, oh, I totally misread this situation.
Yeah, I just had this moment of being in the pocket, but not really doing well. It's just a midnight show at Vulcan, it's just like, there's nothing, not paid or anything. And, the crowd just wasn't that great. But then I had this moment, someone in the audience basically said a setup to my friend Paul Cypher's joke. And I looked in the back of the room and Paul was right there. And I just gave him a look, like a nod, like, can I do your joke? And he just nodded, unspoken, just nodded back, like, do it. And I just did Paul's joke. And it was just so funny between the two of us. The audience didn't even laugh that hard, but we just had a moment, and that felt good. So I was like, in the pocket, aware enough to be able to look at my friend and just a nod. And we had a little moment between each other. And it didn't even matter that the audience didn't notice or care or even like it that much. Still felt good. Yeah,
it is tricky though, because you can confuse yourself and mistake having fun for having a good set.
That's true.
I've had some very fun sets and then I listen back and it's like chuckles.
Yeah. I think being under the influence has an effect on that. I see a lot of people drunk up there and they're having a good time, but it's not going that great.
Yeah, well, alcohol is not a good drug to do because it makes you not care. Because I started comedy drinking. The first year and a half of comedy, I would pregame with like a 6-pack and then I'd take an Uber to perform 3 minutes. And it was just such a waste of of time. And
I would do that too. It feels more fun. You're like, yeah, this is going to be more fun. We're having a good time. But then nothing comes out as smoothly and you're not as sharp as you would be. You know, you're missing, people say something in the audience. You're missing opportunities to say things because you're just too drunk to think of something quickly.
Well, because when you're on stage and you're sober, like you're hyper aware of yourself. There's anxiety at play. There's stakes. You know, like you have to be very careful and make sure you're doing what you're supposed to do, whatever that means for you. And the alcohol compromises that anxiety and it makes you like, whatever, I'll just do whatever. But you can't just do whatever. You have to be cautious and aware and careful and make sure that everything you're saying makes sense. You're not stumbling your words, you're not skipping a word.
That's why a lot of successful comedians got sober and got better. Because the alcohol takes away that anxiety of everything being perfect, but then like the weed, it makes it too intense. Then you're second guessing everything you say, and you're not taking risks. That's how it works for me. I'm too in my head about, is this going to be funny enough when I'm high? Then when you're drunk, you're too loose. So really, the conclusion is sober is the best, no matter which way you slice it.
I like being high when I perform. Like a lot of the times I'm like too high.
Yeah.
But it works.
Yeah.
And I think that's because normally sober me doing stand-up, I get really wide-eyed and it like kind of freaks people out. I get like a psycho look on my face. I'm like not smiling. I'm just like, it's kind of intense. And that can like turn off some people. But when I'm really high on edibles, I don't really smoke, I just do edibles because they just fucking take you there. When I'm on edibles, my eyes are small and I'm like smiling and I'm like my energy's lower and I'm less threatening and more like inviting.
Yeah.
Now the mature solution to that would just be to do that sober.
Yeah. I have a hard time like looking at the audience when I'm high. You know, avoiding eye contact.
They're scary.
Yeah. It's best for me. Right now, you know, I don't avoid anything altogether, but, you know, I am conscious of it before I get on stage. Maybe just one drink or none. And no weed immediately before I get up. It's better. But sometimes, depends who's in the green room. If that's the vibe, if we're smoking weed in the green room, that's the vibe, then I'm not going to be the weirdo that sits out.
Yeah.
I can keep it together enough when I get up there. Yep.
I used to do mushrooms before I got on stage every time. I was like always I was performing on psychedelics for like a year. And that was like my sets went okay. They went good. But I thought I was crushing because I was just having so much fun.
I've done that once or twice, mushrooms, where I go on stage and I kind of forget the whole set as I'm going, but I had fun.
I just feel like it gets me in the flow state more.
Yeah.
When I'm just like, I can just kind of say anything and it'll just like come together. But also maybe I should like rewatch some of my old videos when I was on mushrooms. I don't know if other people would agree it went as well as I thought it did at the time.
Sometimes it's hard to judge until you watch it back. Like I just did 2 shows over the weekend and on Friday and Saturday. And when I left the weekend, I thought the Friday night show was better. I thought I did better. Thought it was more laughs. And then I watched the tapes back and Friday was fine, but I actually did better on Saturday. It's just because of one little thing. I had this genuine crowd moment that was super funny that I thought that I knew, you know, that's not my material. And that was like a genuine moment of like, damn, I am good at comedy. So that's why I thought the whole set, that's why I was happiest with that whole set. Because it was something new. I knew it was different for me. But then Then the second night, it was just my regular material pretty much. And it did go better, but it didn't feel as good to me because I didn't have that genuine moment of like something I thought of on the spot.
Yeah. Because at that point, it kind of feels like you're just reciting a script.
Mm-hmm. It does feel like that sometimes.
Which, I mean, I have to do like new material every like year or so. I just get sick of hearing myself say the same thing.
Yeah, me too. I need to figure out a better writing process. My writing process right now, not great. It's kind of taking notes on my phone. Got to work it out on stage. But if I could just write for 10 minutes a day, that would really help. Because 10 minutes adds up.
Yeah.
Most people aren't doing that. 95% of people aren't writing at all, really. Write for 10 minutes a month.
Yeah, roast battles, that's what another thing roast battles are good for, is like training you to sit down and write. Because roast battle is one of those things where it's like, if you sit down long enough, you will come up with jokes.
Definitely.
And it takes you a minute to like get into that mode where you're just like, all right, like if I'm trying to roast you, I'm just like, all right, Zach, he's got a red flannel, Vans. And then eventually
yeah, and you have something to write towards. You have a goal for writing. When you're just writing stand-up, you have everything. You're like, what am I going to talk about? But then for roast battle, you have something to write about. So it's easier.
Mm-hmm.
You can focus on writing for that one thing. When you're just writing stand-up material, you're like, what topic am I going to pick? What thing am I going to cover? And then it's too much, and it's harder to pick one thing and write about that. Maybe that'd be a good exercise for writing. Just pick a topic and write for specifically that.
Writing to a prompt.
Yes.
I used to do that in school. I used to crush those.
You did?
Yeah. I was good at creative writing.
I was not. Writing was never my strong suit. That's my weakest part of comedy, the writing.
That's like the whole point.
That's most of it. But the onstage presence and the fake confidence and being relatable, I have all that, but the writing, which is a big part, you gotta have everything. Yeah, I was never that good at writing. More into math and science. Give me two numbers.
75 and 13.
I've heard of them. So you're pretty good at math.
You know all the numbers?
Every single one. All right.
What about 10,064.7?
You ever heard of 10,000 Maniacs?
No.
That's a band from my hometown.
Buffalo?
Yep. A little outside of Buffalo. Actually from a smaller town, Jamestown, New York. Nobody's heard of. But the National Comedy Center is there. It opened the year after I started comedy. Coincidentally. I don't know why it's in Jamestown, but it's actually sick. It's an interactive museum. I recommend anybody go there. You can look through like Lenny Bruce's notes. You can like sit in this video where it puts your face on screen in a movie, like the Dumb and Dumber movie. It put your face over who's the actor? God damn it.
Jim Carrey?
Jim Carrey. It'll put your face on his body, and you can be riding in that dog van, acting out the Dumb and Dumber movie. It's really fun.
Wait, what is this?
It's called the National Comedy Museum. It's interactive.
Oh, okay.
Yeah.
Dude, speaking of, actually, this isn't related at all, but what do you think about the Brooklyn Jewish tunnels?
I don't know anything about that. I just saw a meme today.
It's pretty fucking wild.
Tell me about it.
Well,
it's like some El Chapo shit in them.
No.
Smuggling drugs under the border.
No, I think it was babies. Actually, this might get me kicked off YouTube.
Let's not talk about it.
But basically, the Jews dug a bunch of tunnels in Brooklyn. And I made a joke, and I was like, the craziest part about that is that they did manual labor. Like the only way Jews are digging a tunnel is if they outsourced it and got a dude named Manuel to do the labor. And then the next day, it turned out they hired migrants to dig the tunnels.
What are the tunnels for?
That's up for debate. I'm not going to include my personal opinion in here. I will say that they found a bloody mattress and a baby's chair, and it connected to the children's museum.
Oh, okay.
You can venture off and make your own conclusions there.
Where'd the other end of the tunnel go? Where do Jewish people go to church? What do they call their churches? Temple?
Synagogue. Well, the official explanation is a synagogue. They were trying to connect a bunch of synagogues to like circumvent COVID restrictions or something. It's like a really bad explanation that doesn't make any sense. But I have my theories, and I don't want to get kicked off YouTube. I should have.
Timestamp it. Cut that out.
No, we're live, dude. We're fucked. We're gonna get assassinated. I'm actually worried about that, getting assassinated, because like I post a lot of stuff about that, and I kind of am suicidal sometimes, so I think it'll be easy.
I don't think you have anything to worry about.
Well, not yet, but dude, you see,
How would it help to assassinate you?
you'd help.
No, how would it help?
Oh, because well, not right now, but like if I blow up and I have like millions of people watching this every time, then I'll get assassinated.
Yeah, then it could happen.
Right now, I'm safe. All I have to do is not succeed, and I'll be fine.
Or some incel comedian just gets sick of you taking all the pussy.
Dude,
Like, this guy's got to go.
I'll teach you my ways. Step 1, steroids. Step 2,
Any incel comedians
elk meat.
watching this, though, don't worry. Eli, not good at flirting with girls. I've seen it a couple times. He kind of blows it. I saw you go up to this girl and you're like, I used to have long hair. And she was like, oh yeah? And you're like, yep. And then she got in an Uber and left.
That did happen.
I know.
But you're missing the context of that, which was me talking to you and Christina about how I could just say anything and it would work.
Yeah.
And she didn't get picked up by an Uber. She got picked up by a dude.
Oh, okay.
So
With long hair,
they both had long hair?
maybe.
I don't know.
I don't know about dudes with long hair. I used to have long hair. I had a man bun for years.
Oh, God.
I know. Then I cut it off. I grew up and I cut it off. No, much better.
What'd you do before comedy?
Well, I worked in a factory for 10 years.
Oh, right.
A metal factory. We made toolboxes. And then, but during that time, I also flipped houses. I flipped 3 houses. You know, I bought a shitty house and gutted it, redid everything, electric, plumbing, all the drywalls, you know, sometimes new windows, and then sold it for a little more money. I didn't make that much money, but I did make a little money, enough to quit my job and move here and not have a job for a little while.
Nice.
All that money quickly ran out. And now I don't have enough money to buy another house and do it again. So I'm really all in on comedy, which is coming together. Things are coming into play. But yeah, that was just a little over a year ago that I quit that job. So I did start comedy like 4 years before I ever quit my job. And comedy's still not paying the bills, but the other things, you know, the show running and more things, I'm getting more involved. Booking shows at Vulcan, making a little money off that. It's coming together.
It's getting to the point. I feel like you just got to keep doing shit and eventually stuff will happen.
Yeah, it adds up. Then you look back 5 years and I'm a lot farther than I was 5 years ago. So 5 years from now, should be going pretty good.
I've been inconsistent with comedy, where I'll just take a bunch of time off. I mean, like when I started comedy, I think my first mic was like 11 years ago. And then I would do like one mic every like 6 months.
My start was really slow too. I did one open mic once a month for my first year. And then my second year was an entire year off. So really, I've only been getting after it a little while. But I'm all in now. we're in the right place.
Yeah. Yeah, I'm gonna go all in this year. I'm gonna stop competing martial arts and stop trying to do as much business stuff and just try to be all about comedy, podcasting, content.
Yeah.
Because the content's been going great. I've been dropping the clips almost every day, and I mean, I had one stand-up clip from like a few weeks ago that is at like 2.5 million views,
I saw that. Pretty good.
and like a bunch of the little
Your clips with Gary are fantastic too.
thanks.
Yeah, it's high quality. It's like what the gram wants.
Yeah, I think we really cracked the code with it.
It's not just two people sitting on a couch. It's high quality stuff.
I mean, our goal was to talk about controversial things that are not offensive. That's like the main premise. So just like wild, crazy shit, they're gonna make people like, what are you talking about? But not enough to where they're gonna be like, these guys are terrible people.
Do you research like current events before you do that, or
Yeah.
you look up topics to talk about?
Yeah, well, I mean, the current event stuff ties into comedy. That's a prompt that I think is easy to do. Is just looking at what's going on recently and just trying to make jokes out of that.
Paul Cyphers just put me onto this podcast. It's only 3 minutes long once a day. That it just gives you the quick rundown of what happened in the news today. And it's only 3 minutes long. It just gives you the headlines. It's called Headline News from the Associated Press.
That's fitting.
Yeah, the episodes are like literally 2-3 minutes long. It just gives you the highlights. It's something to just like prompt your writing, give you a topic to talk about. And there's not something in every podcast that you can use, but you listen to a week's worth, you might get one out of it.
It's definitely a goal of mine to be able to be doing stand-up every night and then just talk about whatever happened in the world as it happened, like the day of.
Yeah, that's what a lot of good comedians do. If you have a bit the day of something happens, it's really good.
Yeah, like being the first to get to a bit.
The new bit is going to be Stephen Hawking watching those midgets write on a chalkboard. Little people.
Yeah. A lot of the things, it's hard to write jokes about current events because I'm not sure if they're jokes or I'm just like saying something interesting. Like I started writing a joke about Stephen Hawking and I'm like, well, now we have to question all of his science because it's all compromised. Like, do black holes even exist? Is gravity even real? Is the Earth just a giant magnet? And I'm like, okay, that's not a joke, but that's like interesting to think about.
That's a good angle.
Yeah.
I haven't heard anyone do a bit about it yet, but they're about to be. And even if everyone's talking about the same thing, it's like, who's got the best bit on it? Because then they own that joke. If you have the best Stephen Hawking little people bit, then everybody else is going to drop theirs because you have the best one. You're like, oh, they're going to think, oh, I'm a hack. That's a good angle. None of this shit he ever said is relevant now because it was all made up by a little person writing on a chalkboard that's too high for them.
Dude, but like,
what were some of his theories? Did he invent the black hole?
He said that black holes emit radiation. I think he piggybacked on a lot of Einstein stuff.
Probably.
He was an atheist.
Yeah. He was also a pretzel.
Well, he's a vegetable.
Yeah. You think he ever had sex?
Yeah, dude. What do you think he was doing on Epstein Island?
Yeah.
36% of quadriplegics can get boners. So I think he was in that. I think he was in that. Yeah, you heard of that one? You heard that one too?
No. It's 36?
Yeah. Here's another number for you. Viagra reduces your chance of Alzheimer's by 69%. That's a fact.
It's pretty good. What about Blue Chew?
Yeah, same thing.
Same thing.
Yeah, sildenafil citrate.
Why? Because it has just increases blood flow to your brain.
Yeah, exactly. Boner pills are actually good for your health.
I wonder what things like L-arginine do. That must help too. That helps with blood flow. A lot of vitamins. I take this vitamin that Well, there's a lot of vitamins that'll make your load bigger, like magnesium. But there's a bunch of shit. And I was telling that to my
Semen X.
yeah. I had a gay roommate for a month, and I was telling him I was putting him onto all the vitamins. I was like, "This one will make you come more," and he's like, "Why would you want to come more? That's weird. That's gross." I'm like, "You fuck dudes in the ass. Don't judge me for what I like in the bedroom. I want a bigger load. You're trying to fucking bury a load in some man's butthole."
That's weird that a gay guy doesn't say.
Good point.
It is like when you pull out and it's just a little dollop.
Yeah.
It's like,
it's not as satisfying.
No.
You want to bust a big nut.
Yeah. Like ideally she just be drenched.
Yeah.
Like an anime.
Yeah, absolutely. One time, years ago, me and my girlfriend at the time, we took acid and had sex, and I thought, and it was good, and I thought I was about to have I thought I was about to bust the biggest nut. And then one little drop came out, and we both laughed about it. And it wasn't embarrassing either because we were on acid, and it was just funny, and it still felt good. I wasn't ashamed. Like if I was sober and one little drop came out, because we were both laughing at me, and I didn't feel any shame. Just felt in touch with everything.
Acid sex is awesome. If you're with a girlfriend.
Yeah.
Not like a random hookup.
Yeah. Because you can actually feel love when you're with your girlfriend, you know? Like the whole world is love. And acid, you feel warm, you know? From the inside out. It goes right to your dick, too.
I just feel like my brain is just like connected to everything. And I feel like I have like absolute power and control and, well, not just control, but like acceptance. Just like, I got it. And if I don't, that's fine.
Yep. Acid is good for that.
I've never had a bad time on acid.
I haven't had acid in a long time because it's just a piece of paper. Like, who knows what's on that? Shrooms are a little more standard. Yeah, you can look at a mushroom and say, yes, this is a mushroom. But if you're looking at a piece of paper, that could be anything.
That's a good point. Yeah. Acid is just like a synthesized chemical, not unlike meth. But I want to do, well, I guess not anymore. I don't do drugs anymore, but LSA, you know about that?
No.
So LSD is lysergic acid diethylamide. LSA is just lysergic acid without the diethylamide group added.
Okay.
LSA is natural. You can extract it from morning glory seeds. That was in Ergo when during like the Black Plague when everyone was hallucinating witches flying and stuff. I wonder if...
Yeah, that's why they burned witches. They were just fucked up on that ergot fungus, and they're hallucinating, saying things, and they're like, "You're a witch."
Dude, sometimes I wonder if like mold didn't go away. I wonder if like when your food gets moldy in the fridge, that's just full of LSA, and we've just been throwing away perfectly good mold all these years. I'm not going to test it, but
yeah,
I bet you could mold your own drugs pretty easily.
Probably. That's all mushrooms are, really.
I'm going to look that up. How to make ergot.
Is there a difference between mold and fungus, though? I'm sure there must be.
Yeah.
I'm going to guess that ergo, as you called it, I'm going to guess that's fungus and not mold. Even though I don't know the difference.
I think...
What is the difference?
I'm going to ask ChatGPT.
Difference between mold and fungus.
Difference between mold and fungus. Mold is a type of fungus.
Okay.
Fungus is a broad category. So, yeah. Good call. I never really thought about it. I thought about everything. You got any shows coming up?
Yeah, I have a show tonight at Sunset. Rick Diaz and Friends.
Nice.
It's called like Everybody Hates Rick Diaz or something like that. Yeah, I don't know. I got a couple shows coming up. Been running Best of Vulcan. That's, doing that a couple times a month at least. The next one's, maybe in a couple weeks, but I don't know. Doing little shows around town. Doing Ty Rivera and Friends every week at the Creek. Ty and I are boys now. Went to Vegas with him. Put a piece of duct tape over my butt crack when I went to bed, and I was safe. He didn't get in there. Nah, that was good.
And Ty Rivera's great.
Yeah, we just did Wise Guys in Vegas.
How's that?
Fucking great. The crowds were hot. It was like so easy. I did 20 minutes. Like it was easy. I knew it was gonna be good, but it was easier than I thought. Time flew by. Like that 20 minutes went by like nothing. Mike Eaton's gonna be there in like 2 weeks or something like that.
Nice.
He was on the billboard when we were there.
Fuck yeah.
Yeah, he's gonna crush.
I think if it feels easy, I think that means you're doing it right. Because people that don't do comedy are always like, oh, it must be so hard. I'm like, it's not though. That's why I do it. It's the easiest thing. Fucking fighting people's hard.
Yeah, here doing little shows, doing open mics and stuff. It's like running with a weight vest on, and then you get to a city where the comedy scene's not the biggest in the world like it is here, and those people don't see comedy that much. It's not a big part of their life. So when they go out to a show, it's an event. It's a once in a while type thing. So they came to laugh, and it was just so much easier than being in a room with people that didn't necessarily come to laugh.
Yeah.
It was good. I'm glad I got that experience. It was easier than I thought it would be. Yeah, I had to do 20 minutes, which I don't do often. Done many times, but it's been a while.
Did you get a tape?
Hell yeah, I did. Nice. I got some clips out of it too.
Fuck yeah.
About to post one. I had this great interaction with an audience member, and it was just perfect. And then I watched the tape back, and my camera's at the back of the room, and everyone in the audience their back of their head is just a shadow, just a black shadow, except the one guy in the front row I talked to. He's literally in the spotlight. Like I got a gift from God with that one. 90% of the audience is just, you can't see them at all except the one guy I talked to. And that was just coincidence. So
when things work out like that.
I know. That one did just work out perfect. Got a little gift. Working on the reel right now.
I think that'll help you in your comedic pursuit as well. Just the reels blowing up, more people following you, more people find out about your shows. Like it all. It's like part of marketing. And the cool thing about posting clips on social media is it's free. Like you're not running ads. You're just like, hey, like check this out.
Yep.
Look at me be funny.
Yep. And sometimes things just hit the algorithm, and then if you have something blow up, like you got that one with 2.5 million views, I mean, you get followers off that.
Yeah. I'm probably on like not that many, maybe like less than 2,000. Off of, and it has
pretty
like
good though.
It has like 100,000 likes though.
That's still pretty good. That's really good. And then you get another one of those. Then when people go to your page, they see that other one you already had with 2.5 million views. They're like, all right, this guy does this. And then they're more susceptible to hit that follow button.
Yeah, it's all momentum. And momentum works both ways too. If you're fucking up and failing, you're more likely to do that.
Yeah.
So it's like you gotta keep your eye on the ball. I'm mostly talking to myself right now.
Yeah, you're speaking to me too. Yeah, when I get caught up in the failures, you go that direction.
It's tough too, because like you could just have 2 failures back to back and then just completely forget about all your success and everything you've accomplished.
Yep. And you gotta keep grinding.
But it's also, that's a good thing, because then you're motivated to like, okay, I gotta turn this around. I don't know about you, but like when I get in these like downward spirals, I'm just like, oh fuck. Like I'm like looking around as if a house is falling apart around me, and I'm like, where am I nailing this post first? Like I gotta fix something.
And it's coming together. we're moving in the right direction.
Yeah. Where can we find you?
Zac Black on Instagram. I got just Zac Black. I paid the dude who had Zac Black $50 and I got my IG handle.
It's a good deal.
No more periods or underscores or ATX, nothing, just Zac Black. And Outlaw Comedy. Check out Outlaw Comedy. And come down to Vulcan Gas Company, one of the best comedy clubs on earth. Definitely the wildest. Nobody's got a vibe like Vulcan. A sold out Vulcan, that's as good as anything on earth. This is the Thunderdome.
All right. Thanks for tuning in, folks.
Thank you.